right. So
Yeah.
here we are. It's your boy G, along with Alec, another episode of 1600. Appreciate everybody for tuning back in. For those, before we get started, that are tuning in for the first time or are new to the show, make sure to subscribe to LA Sports Report. A lot of great stuff going on all platforms. Appreciate all the love for sure. For those typing on YouTube, like we said, make sure you give us a follow there. And a lot of great content coming to you guys each week. And appreciate the support you guys provide. And now that all the serious stuff's out the way with the intro, Alec, we see what's going on right now. Breaking news: Keenan Allen has been traded to the Bears for a fourth-round pick. We were going to talk about our Chargers and what was going to be going on with them during this offseason, and we see a big move has just been made. What are your thoughts on them moving on from Keenan Allen just now, and Mike Williams was just released a couple of days ago as well?
Yeah, this Keenan Allen trade is more of a shock to me. I mean, we saw that they had between Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Joey Bosa, and Khalil Mack, like they were all due a lot of money, and we're gonna have to either get rid of them by cutting them or trading them or restructure.
Yep.
And we saw Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack both restructured their contracts to stay, and we saw Mike Williams got out of there quick. They got him out of there quick with the
Yeah. It was
release.
time.
Yeah, and that was we could kind of see that one coming just with the injury-riddled seasons and the amount of money he was going to be owed. So that one made sense, and we saw it coming. But the Keenan Allen one, we knew that they were on the fence about keeping him because there were reports of that already. But
Right.
this was still a bit of a shock to see just right before we started recording that they
Literally.
traded him to Chicago, and it makes Chicago pretty interesting now too, with the potentially imminent Caleb Williams drafting. Now you got DJ Moore and Keenan Allen and other weapons too, because they got multiple first round picks, so they could be a very intriguing team.
A very intriguing team. Something before we get more to the Chargers, going to the Bears and what they're doing. Definitely have thoughts in mind of wanting to put some actual pieces around their next QB. It seems like they're going to be moving on from Justin Fields, but might not have been getting the offers they've been hoping for. So they're trying to wait and see how they can adjust to what the new climate is with other moves that have been being made across the NFL. But yeah, I like what they're doing, putting Keenan Allen next to DJ Moore and Darnell Mooney, I think, is also over there still, and what they are building. So that's definitely going to be an interesting thing. Also, just in the thought of trading Justin Fields, you still have room within that to trade for more assets to continue to build this team up as it needs to. So this Bears squad that has been in the dumps for a few years now is really looking to turn things around this offseason. I'm making the right moves so far to get back on the right track. Excited to see what's next for them. For the Chargers, I was going to ask you before this trade even happened, are they moving in the right direction? And I think they are. This at the moment is addition by subtraction in a way. We're letting go of some of the guys that had been holding back, or not been holding back, but that had been just
plagued by injury
on this squad for a few years now. We loved Keenan Allen when he was healthy. We loved Mike Williams when he was healthy. We loved a few guys that were doing their thing, but they weren't healthy enough to sustain and be looked at as true champions of this team going forward. And it was time to move on, continue to build things up in the right direction with Harbaugh now at the helm there. We got a few people in here talking. Love the trade for my Bears. Definitely a good move for you guys. I think you guys are moving in the right direction for sure. Excited to see what's next for you guys. I might get Caleb Williams jersey. I'm being a big fan of his at SC. We'll be excited to see him in Chicago, and that should be a fun pairing with those guys there. So definitely gonna be tuned into that. They'll get a fourth back for Fields at this rate. At this point, you guys just take it because if they wait any longer, it's gonna be that Sam Howell package. So go ahead and take that fourth and call it a day. So yeah, a lot of interesting things going on this offseason. But yeah, definitely excited for what's going on here in LA. Sticking with the Chargers, beyond what's going on with the Keenan Allen trade, we also see other moves that are made. Gus Edwards was signed to a 2-year deal. One of my former Ravens, who is now out the way because of King Henry being signed there, which we'll talk about later on. But salute to him. He definitely is a good back, very serviceable. And if we don't get a back early on in the draft, he definitely could be a top dog until someone else steps up. Will Disley is a respectable tight end. Hayden Hurst also a respectable tight end. And then Alohi Gilman, excuse me if I butchered that, my apologies, but a safety also signed as we are building up this defense. So yeah, some good moves by the Chargers. As you see the question here, you like the direction that they're moving in so far under Harbaugh?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it as far as with Mike Williams and cutting ties there. It just kind of made sense at this time. Keenan Allen might hurt a little bit more for Justin Herbert because that was his security blanket for sure in that offense. But with his talent, I think he can make do with
If he about to get Neighbors, though, I think he'll be just fine.
Right. I think he can make do with the skill positions that they bring in the draft as well. But Gus Edwards, as you said, yeah, serviceable back. Maybe not the most dynamic guy, but he can make do. We've seen him make do without Dobbins there for the Ravens, and Keaton Mitchell. When guys have gone down, he stepped up to the plate for Baltimore.
Yep.
So I think he can be a solid back there. Will Disley, another solid tight end. Hayden Hurst, another solid tight end. None of these guys are really dynamic players. I think they're probably going to be targeting more of the dynamicism in the draft. At least I would hope so, because you don't really have guys here that can take the top off, and currently on the roster that can take the top off. But
Sure.
I believe they will be going in that direction come draft time. So I'm not mad at it. I like that they were able to retain Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa, both of them restructuring to create cap flexibility for the team. So that's great. And hopefully the defense will be improved, because these last couple years they've been bottom 5 in the league.
Right.
But yeah, so far I like the direction that the Chargers are going in. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely like what's going on here. The defense definitely needs some improvement, but like that, we do have some key pieces still in the building with Mack and Bosa, as you pointed out. And to our point about the offense with Keenan Allen and Mike Williams staying healthy, hopefully those two on the defensive side can stay healthy as well, as they we need them to continue to build this up in the right direction as we are doing. So yeah, I like what's going on here to the point that I think you made just about receivers taking the top off and wanting some more guys of that nature. There was a debate for at least a little while once the draft position was first locked in about, are we going to go receiver or are we going to go tight end and get Brock Bowers? And as good as Brock Bowers is, I think us going out and getting 2 more tight ends, I think we may already have one more still on the roster between Everett and
I think Everett signed somewhere. Everett signed somewhere else.
I think we still have one other tight end on the roster, I believe. My apologies, but I just adding these 2 tight ends as well, I think answers the question of the direction we're going to go going in the draft. I believe. I don't think you sign these 2 and then still go get Bowers on top of that as well. I think this makes it clear, especially with the moves that are made and clearing out the receivers also, that we're going to go
Everett's on the Bears.
Oh, I missed on both of those, so my apologies. I thought they were still here. But either way, I think still adding these 2 tight ends with also getting rid of the last 2 receivers that we just noted, our 2 formerly top 2 receivers. We're definitely going receiver in this draft. And with the draft class being as deep as it is, I'm very excited to see the direction that we go. I made a couple of comments about Neighbors being potentially the guy. That is it. Whether it's him or one of the others that have been highly touted, I think we are moving definitely. I'm excited to see what Harbaugh puts together for this offense in this offseason through the draft and all. So yeah, a lot of fun stuff going on here. Any other comment on what's going on with the Chargers at the moment?
I was just gonna send you the list of picks that the Chargers have in the draft. I think that should have went through, but they have that 5th pick. So that, like, with the available options at wide receiver, I don't know if Marvin's going to be there, but as you mentioned, like, it's a pretty deep draft as receivers go. So yeah. I do expect them to try to hammer wide receivers out, because right now it's what, Joshua Palmer, Quentin Johnston. I'm not sure who else after that. As you said, we've now gotten rid of our top 2 guys, so I am expecting them to kind of hammer that position, because that's a clear position of need now with the move they've made. Yeah.
To the point you said about the text you just sent me, we currently have the number 5 pick, number 37 pick, the 69th pick, the 105th pick, the 140th pick, the 181st pick, 225th pick, and the 253rd pick, which is a compensatory pick. So a lot of picks in this draft, which is nice to have. It seems like it's going to be a good draft across the board for most positions. So being able to really bolster this roster, again, as I've been saying, just on repeat, just excited to see what continues to be built up with Harbaugh and this team this offseason. So go ahead.
Yeah, one other major name we didn't talk about is Austin Eckler's gone too. He's with the Commanders now. So that's can't skip that, because that was a huge piece of the Chargers as well.
He was for a
Obviously,
while, but those last
he
couple of
lost a
years,
little bit. He had lost a little bit
yeah.
of juice in the
Yeah,
last couple of years.
I sent that. We sent that one tweet. I think the context of it. I think it was right after he came back from injury, so it's
Right,
kind of
right.
bad to use it. But still, yeah, he's trying to get out the gate, and he couldn't quite get there like he once did. But salute to him for what he did provide. Definitely was a good running back for a long while for this Chargers squad. And yeah, definitely was much appreciated, and hope he continues to have a successful career in Washington and beyond. So yeah, it's going to be tough to see him go for a moment, but I think we will place him nicely with the guys that are on the way. Gus Edwards notably added, as we mentioned, and whoever else will be added to the draft or otherwise. So yeah, good stuff there. Any comment on Eckler, like as you brought up?
Just with that, you think we get a Blake Corum reunion with Harbaugh? I don't know where he's like mocked at
Right.
going, but yeah.
I would like it. I think he definitely could fit the mold of what Harbaugh's trying to build here. From what it seems that he's trying to do. Gus definitely is a gritty kind of running back. It seems like Blake can play some of the gritty role, but has some finesse to him as well. I believe his receiving is pretty decent as also if you want to have one of the versatile type backs. So they definitely could use him in this offense. And we continue to, and we also just notably, as we talked about before, with Greg Roman wanted to talk about putting a good run game. We haven't seen Herbert with a good run game. Can you imagine? I think a guy like Corum next to him surely would give him the support that he's looking for. So, I think there's a lot of good options there. Blake was top of the list. My apologies for not having all of the other running backs in the draft of note. But yeah, I think we definitely could add one or maybe even two to truly have a good backfield alongside Herbert there. And just as I keep saying, I'm excited. I'm excited for this Chargers squad, which is something we haven't said for a couple of years now. So because I haven't, just with how we've seen the writing on the wall for them. So looking forward to how they keep building this thing in the right way.
Yeah, I don't think it's just you or just us. I think even Chargers fans, diehard Chargers fans, haven't really been excited about this team in a while.
Right.
And obviously the head coaching change was a major shift, going from Staley to Harbaugh. Brought a lot more optimism into the building. So
that reminded me, Eric Kendricks was going to go to the Niners and saw he saw Staley over there. He's like, "You know what? I'm gonna go."
You think that's what it was?
I'm gonna go to Dallas instead, man. I can't do it.
I saw that. I saw that.
Oh gosh,
that was funny. It was kind of like the DeAndre Jordan fiasco.
Appreciated.
Yeah, definitely a different feel with Harbaugh and the new regime in the building. It's a different feel for LA and Chargers fans. For sure.
Hey, don't start this. Raider fans don't want to hear from y'all right now.
Y'all don't even have a quarterback right now, so I don't know what you're talking about.
My God, don't bring that over here, please don't. But go ahead.
Raiders Nation, they just got rid of Jimmy G, so I don't. Maybe they'll be in the Justin Fields sweepstakes.
Respect to Antonio Pierce, but we ain't here. Gardner Minshew does not move me. I'm sorry.
Not at all. Not at all, man. A decent, solid backup quarterback, But
yeah,
if that's what they're going into the season with as a starter, good luck.
Now they're gonna draft somebody, but either way, to the Chargers, I guess the last thing we'll just say, just as we've been saying, a lot of good stuff going on with them. We'll be tuned into what's going on all offseason, and we'll cover them as we do for LA Sports Report. I appreciate y'all for tuning in as you do. For those watching on YouTube and Twitch and Twitter, X, and all of that, as you see on the screen right now, if you go on X and you go to the live tab, you'll see that. If you guys are following us, we'll publish as the first one. So make sure you're following us on X to be tuned in where we go live, because we love having the competition with you guys here and across all platforms. So a lot of good stuff going on. In Nakano, not quite yet. He hasn't earned that respect quite yet. But maybe Jane Daniels will, or whoever else ends up in the backfield there ahead of him next season. So we'll be talking about it for sure.